Welcome to Traveling with SHOWCO. Enjoy the ride.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back. Episode 2. Wow, episode 2. I hope you're enjoying the ride as much as I am. So sit back, buckle up, and hold on because let me tell you about what's been going on. So I just got back just the other day from Indiana, and I was in Colorado right before that, and now I was in Indiana, and now I'm home right now. So it's been kind of a whirlwind of a lot of traveling out there right now at the moment. But let's see, when I was up in Gas City, Indiana, I forgot to tell you a couple things up there. It just really, the classes were great. It's the Expecting the Unexpected class, which that class has so much to offer. I just love teaching that class because I get to cover so many topics that you wouldn't even think of. And I bet you half the classes only cover about half of these courses out there. And let me tell you some of the stuff we do cover in that class called Expecting the Unexpected. It's we don't we talk about no deposit, no return. What deposits are you making in your career? Even if your agency doesn't train you, are you finding training? I'm going to give you tons and tons of resources to use in that class, and you can leave there going, man, I do have a lot of resources available to me even if my agency won't provide these things. We talk about power grid attacks, how that's becoming a big issue out there and could really cause havoc for your center. Ransomware attacks at your comm center, vehicle submersions, one of my most favorite topics, because it just drives me crazy when I hear about this has happened and nobody knew what to say, or they delayed or whatever, and it could definitely kill somebody very fast. We talk about predictable is preventable, which is our Gordon Graham saying right there. We talk about hybrid vehicles and electric vehicles, some of the hazards you have with those things if you don't know about them already. Text to 911, using all available resources, active in school shooting situations. And in fact, I put you into a school shooting situation where I make the class actually feel like they are a student inside a schoolroom waiting as they hear everything going on the outside. It's just a real powerful part of the class. We talk about ride-alongs and sit-alongs, how important they actually are. Homeland security, social unrest, situational awareness when you're out in the field, things like that. And finally, I end up talking about emotional readiness. Are you ready for the coming technology that's coming that's going to change our job, man? It's like the job you're doing today is not going to look the same as it did 5 years from now. So you're going to be going through a lot of different things out there. So that was a pretty cool place to go. And I will tell you that while I was up there, I told you I did see the Garfield the cat craziness up there and some other stuff. And then when I got back from that, I went to Colorado, and I told you about that already, about what we did up in that stuff out there. And then I just got back from Indiana. So when I went up to Indiana the other day, I went to Clarksville, Indiana, just across the Kentucky line up there. And on my way up, I stopped at some roadside attractions because you know I usually do. And one of the ones I found, which I thought was so cool, it's in Franklin, Kentucky. It's a marker. It's hard to find. I'm not gonna lie to you, it's hard to find, but it is a historical marker that's put out there on the side, and it's in regards to a National Guard pilot back in the 50s that was chasing a alleged UFO in the area and ended up crashing right there in front of a barn right there in Franklin, Kentucky. And just it's a really cool story if you know anything about it. It's a really cool little story. I don't know how far it is from that marker where the plane crashed and stuff like that, but it's very notorious. It's been on lots of other shows out there, Expedition Unknown, all these other shows talking about his flight and all these things up there. And then, up at the Kentucky Museum area, that's up there in Bowling Green, they have this white squirrel situation where all the squirrels up there are white with black eyes. So it's a very bizarre looking thing out there. It's strange to see white squirrels with black eyes, but that's just what they've got up there. And then I went up, and I'm just going to tell you this, just because it's between you and me, that I went up to go see this Rosie the Riveter photo op. Now it's down at the river up in Clarksville, Indiana. And so I'm there taking a picture of this thing, and there's nobody around, and I'm taking a couple pictures of it, and they'll be up on my Facebook. You'll see them in a minute. And I was like, I thought, okay, this is a pretty cool thing right there. But for some reason, and I don't know why, I thought it was the Mississippi River. So when I was in class the next day, I'm telling people, yeah, I was down taking a picture at that Rosie the Riveter place on the Mississippi, and everybody's like, Mississippi? Where were you? And I'm like, what? And they're like, that's the Ohio River. What are you talking about? And I'm like, Oh God. So I don't know why I kept saying Mississippi, but the whole time I was there, I kept saying Mississippi, and the classes were like, "Where are you? What are you talking about?" So it was in the Ohio River. Got it. Good photo op down there, and right across from that is one of the largest clocks in the United States at the Colgate Palmolive plant, and it's this big, huge clock that's on top of the building. It's really, really big. I mean, really big. And you can see it for probably a mile away. And it's just this big, huge clock. It's been there since I think it's the 20s that it came on and it actually lit up. So there's a picture of that up on the site too, on the old Palmolive Colgate factory building, which it's not a Colgate factory building anymore. It's an office building, but still, it's kind of neat out there. And I also went down to the Ohio River, down that area, not the Mississippi, the Ohio down there. Took some pictures of the Lewis and Clark handshake. There's a statue down there, the Lewis Clark handshake, because a lot of people think that Lewis and Clark actually started their journey in Missouri, but in reality, they went down to Clarksville to get everything together, and then they left from Clarksville. So that's just a spot to say, hey, they're here, and they took they shook hands saying, let's begin this journey of to find the Pacific. So it's kind of a cool thing to see that stuff. So that was neat. And where I was teaching classes for 2 days up there, I taught Expecting Unexpected for 2 days to another group of great dispatchers and from a bunch of different agencies. And man, they were so cool. And it's so nice to meet dispatchers like that actually are cool to talk to, and they have great fun in the class, and they are entertaining and stuff. It's just great to kind of see the involvement that they have when we start talking about topics. And one topic that they really liked talking about was animal attacks. And I tell them about where we used to work, where we had bears and deer and mountain lions and great white sharks and stuff like that. And then they were talking about the animals they have in Indiana and tornadoes and things. And I'm like, you can keep the tornadoes. I don't want any, thanks. I don't want any more out there, which was kind of a cool thing. But the class was just they were so much fun out there, and just a great time for just hanging out with these folks and doing this kind of thing. And I thought, wow, this is kind of cool. So I try to always find like the out of the way places, but I'm just going to tell you, I took a picture of their comm center. If you ever get a chance to go to this comm center, you've got to go check it out because it's very new. I mean, it's very new. And the outside of the building got the coolest paint job on it ever. It's like a lightning bolt almost, and says 911 on it, really big. And it's like, the center inside is just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, I I would hate to show people that work in like a hole, and they're looking at that going, oh, you got to be kidding. I mean, there's lights and there's all these things, and it's just the building's made to withstand an F5 tornado. And I'm like, it's just a really cool place to go to. So, which is kind of a neat thing. And we had a blast up there for those 2 days of teaching, and I really liked that class. It's fun to do that thing. And so we were just driving around up there. And I just wanted to kind of tell you that I have a real I'm going to share this with you because, again, just between you and I here, that I have a real thing about hotel showers. Okay. I just can't stand them. Because a little nozzle thing is always off and it's spraying everywhere except where it should be spraying, or it's just not hot or whatever. It's time for a little confession. If you know me really well, then you already know this, but I figured I'd let everybody else in on the little thing that I do. Because I've been to a lot of showers that are dysfunctional in these hotels that have sprayers that are all filthy or whatever, I decided to start bringing my own. And I have a really cool one that I bring along with me. I will show you in a second on the screen. But I bring it with me. I replace it when I jump in the shower, and it's just great. I don't have to worry about it. And if they have good water pressure and high heat, it makes everything awesome. So yes, I know it's weird to carry one with me when I travel, but I'm sure many of you carry other things. I don't want to get into that. Or you may do things in hotels that you don't want. Well, I don't want to get into that either. All I simply do is go in and switch the shower head to something that I prefer a lot better, and it's so much better. So much better. If you ever get a chance to do it, folks, I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. All right, so back to the review. So that makes me want to start this.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath, long about a Saturday night.
So yes, it's time for Doug's completely unnecessary hotel shower review. I'll be issuing these things as I travel around and go to various locations where I can tell you about the shower situation because there are some that are just the tops and they're great. And man, I love that stuff. And there's some that are just absolutely, they should be closed down. I've been in, hotels all over the country and, I should have been doing this for the past 10 years or so because we've been in some really awesome ones and some really awful ones. So I'll give you the review of these four ones I just did in the last month or so. And let me see, starting off with New Hampshire. When I went up to New Hampshire, New Hampshire, we stayed at the Grand Summit Hotel, which is a resort, basically. I wasn't open because it wasn't ski season yet, but beautiful hotel. Everything's nice up there, and the shower conditions were awesome. Hot water, great. Lots of water pressure, even better. So that one gets a good rating from old Doug here with the unnecessary hotel shower reviews. And the other one, next one coming up is Marion, Indiana. Marion, Indiana. That one we had a problem. So I'm not going to lie to you. That was at the Hampton Inn in Marion. And they have one of those soft water things. And you know what? When the soft water comes on, it's like makes it feel slimy. It's just, oh my God. No water pressure, water softeners in effect. So it really just was nasty. I was like, oh my God, this is terrible. And it was just not a good shower situation. So that one, close it down. Sorry about that one. That's not a good one out there. Then I went over to Loveland, Colorado. I stayed at the Embassy Suites, Embassy Suites and Conference Center, big place. That's where we had our conference. I did classes there. The shower situation there, tops. They are really good stuff over there. Hot, very much water pressure was blowing. I mean, it was like great. I love that kind of water pressure and it was just a great shower experience. So I'm glad I get to review that one for you. If you ever get a chance to stay at the Embassy Suites in Loveland, Colorado, please sit back and enjoy the ride in that shower because it's a good one, man. I'm telling you what. And then I was just the other day, I was at the Home 2 Suites in Clarksville, Indiana. There are two classes up there. And the hotel, okay, so let me back up just a little bit because I'll give you the review on the shower in a second. But and like I said, I've been to hotels all over the country. It's not a new thing for me. I do it all the time. So I go in and the person behind the counter, I heard her on the phone. She's on the phone, not even saying hello or anything. And I heard her saying it's my first day by myself and it's kind of busy. And I'm like, well, then maybe you should get off the phone. But I didn't say that. So finally, she gets off the phone and I tell her, hey, I got reservations or whatever. And she goes, okay, hold on. And she gives me a room key, just the key, the plastic key, not in the little folder, just the key. And I'm like, okay. I said, can you tell me the room number? She goes, I'm sorry. Our policy says I cannot tell you the room number. I can't say it to you. I said, well, you didn't give me the thing, so I can't tell where it is. So how do I know what room I'm going to be in? Do I just go door to door and just keep putting it near the door? If it goes off, then that's my room, and bingo, I've got it. And she goes, oh, I didn't give you that? I'm like, no. And so she goes, oh, okay. So she gets one of these little pamphlet things, and she puts the key inside there and hands it to me. And I said, okay, but you still didn't tell me the room number. I don't know the room number. And she goes, oh, okay, sorry. So then she actually says it to me. And I'm like, I thought you weren't supposed to say it out loud. And she goes, oh, give me that. I'll write it down. So she writes it down. I'm like, fine. Good God, I got to get out of here. So I go up to my room. I go up there to the room and I open the door and I put my stuff in like just right inside the door because I had so much junk with me that day. And I'm like, as I walk into the room, I close the door and I flip that little lock thing on the door. And I stood there and I looked and I thought, oh my God, the bed looked like somebody just got up. I looked in the bathroom, there's towels all over the floor. I'm like, oh God, there's somebody in this room. So I back up and I go back downstairs and I said, hey, I go back downstairs and she's got like two customers in line. And so I'm standing there and she goes, I'll be with you in a minute, okay? And I'm like, okay, it's fine. I'm going to be nice about this thing. So finally, she waits on these two people, gets to me and says, okay, how can I help you? And I said, you know that room you just gave me? Somebody's probably in there because there's towels on the floor, the bed's not made. And she's like, oh, I think they checked out. We just didn't have a chance to clean the room. I'm like, so you knew it? Whatever. I said, can I get another room? And she's like, yeah, sorry. So she gives me another room and I make my way up to that room. And before I put anything in the room, I open the door and say, hello, is anybody in here? Is there anybody in my room? What the hell is going on? So anyway, so let's get to the unnecessary shower review for this room. Even though it was hard to check in and there was some issues at the beginning, I will tell you the shower was awesome. It was great. Lots of pressure, lots of hot water. It was just great. I was like, oh my gosh, this kind of made up for the other part. Not really. It kind of made up for the other part, but I was like, I guess I had to put up with what I got. So well, that was a tough one right there. So I hope you enjoyed that little segment that we're going to be doing periodically. So look, oh, we're going to do the jingle again. So here's the jingle.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath long about a Saturday night.
All right. So isn't that I love that stuff. I love it. That is just so funny. It's just I love that kind of thing. So, all right. So, hey, next up, let me see. What am I doing next? I got a couple of things lined up and I'm being some hotels and I'll give you those reviews shortly. So, but let's see, next week. Oh, well, next week, don't tell her, but it's Jill's birthday next week. So I'm not sure what we're doing on that day. She's got some things she's asked about and I'm like working on that. So we'll see what happens with that one right there. And then it's Memorial Day after that. And that Monday, the 27th, special announcement. I can't tell you what it is yet, but it's a special announcement that you'll hear. If you know anything about me and what I do, you'll know there's something involving that, and it's good and bad, and it's just the way it is. And that's something that's going to come up on that Monday, the 27th. So get ready for that. A couple other things that we did. I'm going back to Indiana yet again, to Plainfield, Indiana this time in June. And that should be good. I'm like, we're still teaching the expecting unexpected. So I'm doing it 10 times up there in the state for tons of different dispatchers. So they're all going to get this experience. And I think it's cool, especially since Indiana, the state 911 board pays for the class. So it costs nothing to send your dispatchers to the class. And apparently there's still some folks up there that are like, nope, we're not sending people. It's free. And they feed you. They do bring in lunch every time. We've had such great lunches. I'm like, sheesh, they had Cracker Barrel the other day. I mean, it was like, what in the world? Well, I mean, Cracker Barrel was sort of a fill-in, but still, they stepped up and really put on a great lunch and stuff. So free lunch, free training. If you're in Indiana, for God's sakes, please go to the training. It's a great time to go in there. You get to meet all the other dispatchers, and I'm always pushing the all available resources deal. So continue that up there. So other than that, let's see, next month, it's also Friday the 13th next month. Father's Day is next month. There's a lot of good things going on, including my 11-year anniversary. Our wedding anniversary is on the 20th. And so that's 11 years of putting up with me. I'm surprised she still does it, but it's one of those things. So other than that, everybody, till next time, go on out and make it a great day. See ya.
Thanks for watching Traveling with SHOWCO. We hope you enjoyed the ride.